All right, CJ, let's take a look at your paper. MLA format looks good. The impact of scrolling, I think you could probably find a stronger word either for that or overall a little bit more creative than that, because that's really just the topic of your paper, is the idea of what are the effects of scrolling through your screen. So I would find something better than that. Good word choice at the beginning. You have a lot of really good original words: perpetually, illuminated, fixedly, permanently glued to their fingertips, adversely, which is not bad. Here's what I'll tell you, and this is taking your writing to the next level. One thing that I'll talk about eventually when you get to AP is adverbs. So you have perpetually, permanently, adversely. While I don't mind them now, they would rather have you come up with just a stronger verb than trying to add an adverb to make your verb stronger. So just in the future, think about that as a way to fix your writing. If you need more examples of that, I can try to help you out with this. Now, right here is where you actually get into your main points. And I'm going to give you one little quick thing to fix. So this right here, you're calling your thesis statement, which actually isn't. This is really more like your topic of your paper. We're going to move this right up here, and that will give you your topic. Then you get into your main points down here, and then you're going to add right here, instead of this sentence, you're going to add a thesis statement. Because your thesis statement, think about this, the thesis is the message of your statement. Are you really telling me the message of your statement is that it has negative side effects? You can't be. It's got to be something greater than that and something bigger than that. So you're going to want to move that. So you're going to want to make it a better thesis statement. You have to say that you have to have a stronger message about your paper, not just that it's a negative. Now you're getting to the emotional part of it with the word addicted, but it's still not quite there. So you still need to add something a little bit more onto that to make this to make that paragraph a little bit stronger. All right. So your first paragraph is about sexual harassment. This needs to start, if you're going to have a topic sentence, you can't just say the first, essentially all you're saying in here is one of the concerns is sexual harassment. You have to say, have a why part to this, to your topic sentence. So it is a concern because why. So make sure you add that in there as well. All right, so your first one, which is about the sexual harassment that can occur. Use some good examples as far as, where they can come from, a good statistic, which is awesome. Here's what maybe is missing, and I'm going to say this, but don't think less of me. How about a specific example? Like, give me a typical teenage girl, what might happen on Twitter or Instagram, or I don't even know what Kik is. I'll have to research that one. What would typically happen to them? Like, give me an example. And I don't want like some graphic, you don't necessarily have to go that way, CJ, but give me a graphic, whatever. It could be a boy sending a picture to her. It could be a boy, asking for something like that. And you kind of get to that innuendos and insinuations. I understand that part, but we want some more specific examples, because these, while good words create voice, specific examples and details also create voice, CJ, and that's what we want to see as well out of you. So nothing else in this paragraph is really troubling to me, except at the end we want to have a strong transition. They make an abundance and undesirable actions far too easy, which is kind of a good closing statement. But we need a statement that's going to move us from this main point to this main point. So try to think of a statement that's a good transition statement from main point to main point. All right, I see what you tried to do here. Sorry, now that I read your next body paragraph, you were trying to, the idea of undesirable actions, you were actually trying to tie into leaving comments. That it's far too easy to leave comments on other people's walls. So what I would say is, the fact that I didn't get that the first time probably means it's a weak transition statement. So you're definitely going to fix that. All right, so the next one is about, the first one was about unwanted sexual innuendos. This one is about leaving mean comments. And this one also suffers from the same one that the last one. You have a good statistic, and actually this is a really good point to bring up, the idea I found this really intriguing. Only 15% confess to being the target of direct cyberbullying, yet 88% have seen it done. So that's a really good point to bring up, and I like that. I would argue that you don't have a strong topic sentence yet. This kind of is one, but there's no, again, sort of a message statement. Yes, they're leaving these troubling comments and small criticisms on posts, but I would want to see a strong topic sentence with a strong message, and maybe look at the effects of it again. I talked about the effects maybe up here too. Look at the effects that it has on kids, because you're talking about cyberbullying as an effect of sort of this online whatever. But give me an example. I mean, in all your research, you didn't find one example of a kid that was cyberbullied and maybe killed themselves because of it, or was adversely affected because of it, or, give me an example of what that looks like. If you don't want to do like a general, maybe hypothetical example, give me a real life example of what that would look like. So the shameful treatment of other people is the primary cause of declining body images. And then you're going to get into this, which is good. So this is a strong transition. That one's not bad. I can see that you're going there, which is good for a reader, that we know where we're going. All right. So your last one is about body image, how social media affects body image, and I like what you have to say in here. There's actually, I love the information you give, and I would say that's probably your strongest. Despite the fact that I want more, but probably your strongest quality in this paper, CJ, is the idea that you really weave in kind of your own words with other people's words, and it flows well. So that part is really good. So keep that part up, and you do give a little bit more examples, although, I mean, despite the fact that they're examples, they seem, the dreamy man with washboard abs, the skinny girl with the skinny hair. So I feel like those are still pretty typical responses. But where can you, again, add a little bit more of that original examples in here? Now you get down here and you get to what it causes, and you say it has dire consequences too. Maybe you could think about, what teenagers do, like kind of in the moment when they see that. Is there something, you talk about eating disorders, or you talk about nervosa and anorexia and bulimia. So you do talk about a few of those too, but I feel like you still could add a few more examples in here of what it really does to them, and make it more psychological. I don't know. I just thought maybe you could add a little bit more onto that. All right, so then you get to the conclusion. Again, this is supposed to be a restatement of the thesis, and it kind of is, but it's not a strong sentence, so you're going to need to fix that eventually. So you have the idea of what happens. Probably need to make sure that every body paragraph gets its own sentence. They often use for the complete opposite. This would be a comma. So even though apps and social websites are created for creativity, comma, they're often used for the complete opposite. Yeah. I think probably with that sentence, yeah, so change that hyphen to a comma. That's what you would want to do with that one. So, new forms of sexual harassment and bullying appear in social media constantly. So anyways, I feel like you need to go back through a sentence of summary for each body paragraph. I feel like you're kind of combining all of these together. Although I guess this is your first one, sexual harassment is your third one, and negative. Okay, so maybe you do have it. Sorry. So anyways, you get to the idea at the end here, what it's contributing to, are progressively harming them, which is kind of just your thesis again, but it's really just your topic. So you're just adding your topic in here again, and you made a cardinal sin. You got a space issue right there, CJ. You made the cardinal sin here, and you use the word you. You can't use the word you, CJ. And this is a really boring last sentence anyway. I like the idea that you tied it into the title, which is good. And I even saw the comment that Mrs. Shemanek made. over here on the side about, time maybe a little bit into the beginning, but I think we need a better bookend with the introduction than that, or a thought to ponder on that's not really just, do you want to continue scrolling, because obviously people are going to do that, but maybe sort of the idea that they're more careful while they do it, or they, maybe a little bit of advice for stepping away. I don't know, something like that. Your works cited page looks good. Everything on here is where you want it to be, so that is good. So no problems there. So CJ, not bad for the most part, but a few areas here and there we need to work on.